It's our first show in March, which means it's time to move on from the winter months and say hello to the spring sports. Welcome to Sports Talk. I'm Tyler Sloan. Today we update how the girls softball teams in McKinney ISD are doing as they approach district play. All three teams made into the playoffs last season, with both Boyd and McKinney High advancing to the regional quarterfinal round. How are they faring this season? We'll soon find out. Stick around because this is Sports Talk. Of the McKinney High softball team. They've gotten off to a little bit of a slow start, 4 wins on the year, a few more losses than that, but a lot of these tournament games, Coach, you know, it's not necessarily your front 9 that are always playing because there's so many games in such a little time and you play so many tournaments. You really have to test the depth of your team early.
It really does become a test of depth. We've had basically one pitcher, Chelsea Thomas. Early on we had Ashley Carlton, who was a freshman, who was helping us out, but from a previous injury she had with volleyball with a broken wrist, so she's kind of been out for the last 3 weeks. So we relied on April Rousey, who had been a pitcher for us in the last couple of years, but she really helped us out in a pinch. And it's really been a big help to us in certain situations because you obviously don't want to throw your number one a whole lot because it can get wearing through that tournament season. Plus, on top of that, you're trying to find a true 9, and so there are position changes that you're trying to put certain girls in certain situations and see how they handle it and see who's stronger in what situation, and sometimes that can, that has an effect on your cohesion and who you are as a team. So that's the biggest aspect of trying to find development of a team, and I think when you go into tournaments, that's really what you're looking for. Some are a little ahead of the game than others, but we're going to find our way.
I think in a lot of different high school sports, when you have those non-district games and you're just trying to find, the best flow, who has the best cohesion within your team, and they really don't matter necessarily, except for maybe morale booster, to win those early games because it's only those 10 district games that really determine your fate.
Well, they do, but you really like to go into the district on a good run. You don't want to walk into district, limping in, necessarily. So, I like to tell the girls from the very beginning, they're all must-wins. You don't have the opportunity to walk away from a game saying, well, we got another one, because that mentality can have an effect as well. You always want to have that, killer instinct and say, this game we're going to get because it is a must-win, and it builds on your strength, your character, and who you are as a team and what you're going to do and who you're going to be when you walk into district. So, but I know that for the most part, it really does benefit you as far as trying to find that cohesion and look at it as getting work in preparation for district.
Now, this is your first year as the head coach of the program, but you've been an assistant coach for a while now for McKinney High. How has that transition been like for you to go from the assistant coach to the head coach?
Early on, it was a little difficult just because, you kind of walk into the situation as an assistant and you're not sure as how the girls are going to view you as, are you the head coach or still see you as an assistant coach? But I really worked on trying to maintain who I was as a coach, who I was as a mentor, and who I was to them, because I think it was necessary for me to maintain that balance and that cohesion with them. I know there was probably certain situations where I overlooked that situation and became too much of a coach when trying to pull those reins, and I know that has an adverse effect on the team as well. So I've really now just trying to focus on keeping them positive and on the right track, and myself as their leader, as their head coach, is making sure they see that out of me, that I believe in everything that they're doing, I trust in who they are and where we're going to be going. But the biggest change is the responsibility that comes with the role. I know that I was able to do a lot of things as head coaching responsibilities, but ultimately there are a whole lot more responsibilities that come with the job, and hopefully I've been able to handle those as well as anything else and be able to maintain the program and where we're wanting to go with it.
This team is so young, and you brought back a lot of players that did play last year that were freshmen or sophomores, and they're still on the team now. Last year, a big playoff run. You got to the third round of the playoffs before you lost to Rockwall. But what did that experience you gained winning a couple playoff series help out coming into this year?
Well, since I've been here in the program, that's the first time that we've made the playoffs, but it's the first time we've actually made it through the first round. And so that was a huge monkey off your back, if you will, for the program. And going into the area playoffs against Rockwall, we were basically one strike away from going to the next round. And so I think that kind of stuck in us a little bit. I mean, definitely defeating in the fact that we know what we could have done, what we should have done, and that kind of goes along with our theme for the year is no coulda, oughta, woulda, shouldas, no cows allowed on our field. There's no excuses. Whatever happens, we got to maintain who we are because we know how good we are and who we can be when we play together as a 9 on the field, no matter who that 9 is going to be. And so I think, going into the new district, 5A district with very strong teams, Plano, Plano East, Plano West, Boyd, Allen. Again, it comes down to that there's no cows allowed, that we are going to, doesn't matter who we play. Our biggest competition is ourselves. We don't worry about them. We can't control what the other team does. All we can control is what we do in the process and just playing softball and having fun doing it.
As you've observed these first few games of your season and the tournaments that you've played in, who are a couple of players that have really stood out in your mind as people that are really going to help you out in district play?
That's like I said, this is probably one of the first years where we actually had 12 players that have legitimate playing time. So it's one of those things that I think that, we got strong areas in certain areas. We got, Chelsea Thomas has a strong bat when she's going. She has, she's got the circle. So there's a lot of, areas of that where we got strength. We have, Emily Mars, our first baseman. She is just a living vacuum over there at first base, and no matter what's going over there, she eats every ball up that comes her way. And so that's always a relief and comfort to a coach, knowing that balls are going their way. You don't even have to think about it. I don't even have to look over there. I know it's going to be an out if it's anywhere in her direction. And so, again, there's the areas we have. Our outfield, Courtney Derrick has been a strong center fielder, our senior, so she's been a strong center fielder for us out there, leader in the outfield, it's, I hate to leave anybody out, because they're all such great players and they all have their own strengths that they bring to the program.
Right.
And I think at any one time, whatever they're in the lineup, they're going to be the one that's going to make that change.
It's not like you have one or two players that really are stars and stand out on your team. You really have 12 individuals that can really play. In
my opinion, I think I do. And any one of them can be that change agent during the game that can make that impact. And so for us to think, I don't want to ever try to put that label on and say that we have that one person, and without that one person, then we're nothing. Because obviously there are stronger players than others, but for the most part, they all have their strengths, and together, when they bring that together, it's unstoppable.
And you have to have at least 9 strong players on the field at one point.
Yes, you do.
Going into district play, it'll start this Friday. What is one area that you think your team, if they can improve in this area, you're going to have a successful district season?
As far as ourselves?
As far as yourself.
Again, I think it comes down to the team component. Playing together as a team, and when we find that identity, to know that when we come together as a team and have that ownership as a team, that we're unstoppable when we play together, then I know we'll have it made. There's no stopping us.
Well, Coach Drains, your first Sports Talk appearance, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate your time.
I appreciate it. Thanks, girls.
As a McKinney High coach, Terry Drains, and they're heading to district play starting this Friday. It will be a tough challenge in 5A now for the McKinney High girls, but they're ready for it.